This is the Syncrets To Success podcast. I think this is episode 67, if I remember correctly. So getting close to that 100 mark. Hopefully, I can get to 100 over the next few months. And once I get to episode 100, this podcast, I'll start to reveal it on some podcast platforms. Right now, the podcast does exist on YouTube. So you definitely want to check it out on youtube.com/thefingaz. If you're watching on Instagram, you want to check out the podcast over here on YouTube. That's where I keep. Dylan, thank you for tuning in. This is an episode of the podcast. You want to tune in on YouTube. This is episode 67. So you have 66 previous episodes where you can catch some information on sync licensing, trailer music, music production, networking. I don't need my headphones on. Networking and things like that. So definitely come on over to YouTube, Syncrets To Success podcast. But I am live on Instagram right now. Also, this episode, I'm going to talk about my recent trip to California. As much as I can talk about it, some lessons learned just from traveling and networking and making music for top secret projects. Talk about the trailerization I just posted. Before we get into all that, this episode is sponsored by ASTS. So shout out to ASTS. You can check the link in the description on YouTube for some ASTS stuff that they have a discount. You can buy some of their software. They use plugin. They create sounds and plugins for music creators. Specifically, they have a lot in the horror space, like scary movies type stuff. So check them out. So this podcast, I'm going to share some valuable insights and experiences from my recent trip to California. That Jones Boy 88, thank you for tuning in. Dio Don 757, that sounds like a Virginia area code. Shout out to DMV. Thank you for tuning in. Share some insights from my recent trip to California, and to also discuss the importance of like traveling, going out to places, networking, and how that can inspire new ideas and opportunities in the music business. Every time I go to California, that was the second time I went this year. My wife actually went. We both went. Well, actually, our whole family went for NAMM earlier this year. Then my wife went back a month or two ago, and then I went back last week for a top secret project that I can't speak about yet. Hopefully, I can at some point. But I was just there to work on music, basically at the highest level for a top brand, one of the world's top brands. And during the trip, I got some incredible insights on just music business. And while I was there, I had so many ideas. You know how you start working on an idea and that sparks other ideas. I was starting to get so many ideas, both for music, but also to help this brand out. So I'm in, a room, and there's representatives from this multi-billion-dollar brand, and I have ideas just flowing while I'm actually doing what I need to do music-wise. And that has helped to shape and build that relationship. So we were, doing this top secret project for a couple of days out there in LA. Brandon Wallace, thank you for tuning in. And as I'm working on this project, so many ideas are coming to mind for future projects or other opportunities or related projects that aren't exactly what we were working on. So you want to have a way to document these ideas as soon as they come to you, because as soon as the muse leaves you, the idea might be gone. So for me, I might email myself. I used to record voice memos on my phone. I don't do that anymore, but I would either email myself or keep a note in my phone. Probably one of those two options, something written so that I can go back to at a later date and go back to it. Black Seed Beats and Jeremiah, thank you both for tuning in. Jeremiah Gloria, I haven't seen that name in a minute. I hope you're doing good, Jeremiah. But yeah, always a vibe being out in California. And of course, I posted today a snippet of the trailerization that I did of They Not Like Us. I was hearing that everywhere. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I had to get that out. I had the idea of doing it when the song came out because just the vibe, it just took over, obviously. I'm not taking sides, but yeah, that song just like blew up. But yeah, when you're in these rooms working with the top brands, you have to execute at a high level, at a high capacity, because you have to satisfy the needs of whatever you signed up for. Even if you're not in the rooms, if you sign the deal, you got to make sure you execute on some of those things or on all the things that you said you're going to do. And then you also want to over deliver as much as you can without giving too much away, because you also want to make sure the value is there. And if there's more that you're going to do, make sure that they're going to pay for whatever you need to do. That's way extra. But yeah, we definitely went out there and showed up and showed out. So when you are traveling to these places, you want to allow time for personal and professional growth. No matter what building you're in, what room you're in, people that are in the room, you want to learn from them, but you also want to share your personal journey with them. You want to develop that relationship. If it's a company or a team that you want to work with for the long run, and of course, this company is definitely a company that I Lord willing, will be working with plenty of times over the next few years, or probably forever, hopefully. But the team that I had with me executed things at a high level, and we were able to over deliver and not under promise, but we were able to deliver more than what the value was that they paid for. So, of course, a lot of that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for traveling and networking and being open to these opportunities and then presenting these ideas to these companies and them running with it. So, yeah, for me, traveling helps to spark the creativity and helps to develop the perspective in some of these other areas. And then also, as I mentioned, the trailization of They Not Like Us. That is getting. I'm trying to stay away from looking at the numbers. I was at a couple thousand views across platforms within a few hours. So of course, it's a trend right now. But the trailerization for me is my version of viral on social media, and hopefully I can get it signed and get it into some trailers or at least a trailer. Obviously, it's the trend right now. So hopefully, it can get like signed really quickly and then get pitched really quickly and land on something really quickly. That would be great. But yeah, I enjoyed working with that. Shout out to the whole Kendrick Lamar team and the West Coast team. And yeah, fingers crossed for that. The next thing I'll talk about, I'm gonna fly through this because I need to go to sleep because I've actually been working on. I've been bouncing stems. If you are interested, I use Logic Pro 11, or I use Logic Pro. I don't use 11 yet. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I use Logic Pro and I use a software that helps me bounce the stems using AI. So it does, well, I guess it's AI. It uses technology to automate the bouncing process so that I don't have to sit here and choose tracks and bounce different stems out. It goes through my master bus processing. If you are interested in that, if you are interested in that bounce platform that I use, if you're on Instagram, comment the word bounce and I will send you information about that platform. If you are on YouTube, check the fourth bullet point in the description and you'll see a link where you can check out that software that I use to automate the bouncing in Logic Pro. It saves me a bunch of time in bouncing out stems for various clients. In this case, I had 2 albums that were approved by a library, and they were like, "We're trying to ingest it." They were trying to ingest it today, and they're like, "We couldn't ingest the music." And I was like, "Why?" They're like, "We don't have the stems." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know it was approved." So now I got to spend today, and probably tomorrow, I'll do the other album. But I did one album today, but using that the AI bouncing to bounce the stems in Logic Pro. So definitely check that out. And that is why I have not updated to Logic Pro 11 yet. Jacob or Jake, thank you for tuning in because I know with this project in particular, I was gonna upgrade to Logic Pro 11 today, and then I saw the message from this library that I work with. They're like, "Hey, we need the stems for this so that we can get it." So I was like, "Let me do that before I update." So I'll probably update tomorrow. I want to go live when I do the update. I know a bunch of people have done the update already. They're talking about the features and stuff. I do want to compare the stem separation to RX, which is what I use for when I'm doing these trailerizations of these tracks and things to get the vocal from the music. And I've been using RX since version 2. So I want to see how Logic Pro 11 compares to RX with the stem separation. And also, I never want to upgrade when I'm in the middle of existing projects. So I'm sort of in between projects. I'm doing ad hoc, trailer stuff. I have those albums that I need to get those stems for. So once I'm done with that tomorrow, I'll probably do the upgrade. I don't want to do it tonight. It's going to take forever to do the stems. It's 10 tracks. I just got to do different versions of stem bouncing for each track. So I will upgrade to Logic Pro 11 sometime this week. It'll just take me probably tomorrow at the earliest. Then I'll do it tomorrow afternoon or probably later this week. And also, I haven't updated my computer to Sonoma. I don't know if you have to be on Sonoma for the latest Logic Pro update. I have to look into that. I might upgrade my computer now just to see, but also that whole high risk, high reward. Don Pneumatic, Bad Guy Money, thank you for tuning in. Some other goals for this week, other than getting these stems out to this library, bouncing the stems, upgrading my Logic Pro 11, hopefully diving in on that. I do want to finish up or not finish, I want to get some trailer ideas out to another library I work with. They need some just quick cues for some trailers. So I know I can execute on those 30-second like ideas, probably an hour per cue. So I want to get like 3 or 4 of those out for a library that I work with. And then I have a collaborator that I want to reach out to him, who I got him into one library, and he made an offer that I want to revisit because I have some other libraries I think I want to get him into. So yeah, and then of course you want to tune into this podcast, and you get to follow my journey. You get to learn some insights into the music sync licensing process. There'll be more goals that'll show up. I'm getting briefs pretty often. I missed so many briefs because I was out in LA working on another project last week. So I missed a bunch of briefs, some trailer briefs and things. But also, if you saw the post from last week, I didn't post on YouTube, but while I was working on these other projects, I did get 2 other trailerizations signed to a library. They approved it. They now just needed some different stems and versions of those. So I worked on those like one night in California, like after the full day session. I was like, I got to get these out because I had to submit it by Monday. And I knew, I think I got the information Friday that they accepted it. So I knew that I had to do it Friday night because I was flying back home on Saturday. So, and then Mother's Day was on Sunday. So I knew if I didn't do it that night. So I got back to the hotel. I was up for like 3 or 4 hours. Probably only got 3 or 4 hours of sleep before I had to head to the airport. But you got to do what you got to do, in this music space. And of course, I work full time. Also, I say that because as I'm on this journey, the goal is to eventually, hopefully one day, Lord willing, get to the point where I can make music full time, focus on music and the music business full time, and not so much focus on working full time and 40 plus hours, usually 50, 60 hours, with the commute and everything, with non-music stuff. So yeah, that's the goal. And I have some meetings with some music conferences coming up to discuss that side of things, more in the public speaking, panel organization. So yeah, there's a lot going on. So I like to document that in this podcast and also on social media and things like that. In addition to the music creation, you get to see the business development process. So shout out to the whole team that came out to California for everything that we were able to execute on at a high capacity, at a high level for one of the world's top global brands. So yeah, I think that'll be it. I'm gonna get out of here. I've also been doing some connections, doing some messaging, some networking online to get some more clients and things. So stay tuned. Fingers crossed that some of those execute on. I just gotta crack the code. Cracking the code little by little, but I know there's a faster way to get there. So I'm just figuring out how to get there. So you want to reflect on, for you, people diving in on the sort of the sync licensing journey or trailing music or whatever journey you want to reflect on your experiences, how you can apply your own experiences to your journey, how you can share, because a lot of times I get messages from people like, oh, that message really resonated with me, and I didn't know that things like that could resonate with people. So you want to definitely share what you're working on. Sometimes I share these posts and I hear from people's teams, or I get word from people's managers or an artist like, yo, that was dope. So you just never know just by posting, what that can lead to. Tadrick, thank you for tuning in. That's why I post these messages on social media. That's one reason. Another reason I mentioned a couple weeks ago is sort of like legacy. This is a document of my journey that hopefully, if the internet never dies, if YouTube never dies, if Instagram never dies, my kids and grandkids and whatever can go back and watch all these messages if they want to. They probably won't even want to, but if they want to, they could see the journey and the progression, the dream chasing, the dream reaching, the dream achieving, and the development of these goals in life. Cyan, is that how you say it? Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to California again. Check out the post I just made today, the They Not Like Us trailerization. I posted a snippet across social media. Actually, I can post it to YouTube. I didn't post to YouTube. I usually don't post those to YouTube because they get flagged, but I can post that to YouTube because Kendrick Lamar lifted the copyright, so I can share that to YouTube, and hopefully a library will like it and I'll get it signed and I'll get it on the trailer. So fingers crossed. Stay tuned for the next episode. If you missed all the gems I dropped in this episode, go to YouTube, check out the Syncrets To Success podcast on YouTube. This is episode 67, sponsored by the ASTS. Shout out to ASTS. Also check out, comment the word bounce if you're on Instagram to check out the Logic Pro sort of AI software I use to bounce stems. Also check out, if you are on Instagram, comment the word epic. Check out the Epic Cinematic Hip Hop workshop that I just did a couple weeks ago, but the replay is now up, so you can check that out, showing how I craft music, sort of like the They Not Like Us trailerization I did, but how I craft those epic cinematic music from start to finish. So I have a webinar showing that. I have some more workshops in the works. I might do one this weekend if I can pull it together. Maybe I'll make a poll on social media to see what people want to learn next. I'm debating between maybe Disney, like cinematic, Disney animation type music, or neoclassical like trailer music. So that might be the two that I let people decide which should I do next. And I'm looking at doing workshops pretty much on Friday evenings, Friday nights, usually around 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock Eastern time, which would be 5 or 6 Pacific time. So I'm looking to do workshops around Friday nights. That's what works great for my schedule. I would do weekends, but weekends just, we have family things going on. And then Sundays I'm just relaxing, get ready for work the next day. And then of course, church. Justy89, if I missed it, thank you for tuning in. But thank you for watching this episode of Syncrets To Success. Stay tuned for the next episode. More gems coming, more sync Syncrets To Success coming. The Key. Thank you for tuning in. More Triller music gems coming. Again, also go back to the They Not Like Us and let me know what you think about that. Tag Kendrick Lamar if you want in that post. I would love to have him hear that. And I think I'll get it on his radar soon. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Check out the Syncrets To Success podcast on YouTube, and I will see you in the next episode. Be safe and be well, everyone. All right. All right. Peace.